let me put the question forward. The question is, despite scientific research, can we ever say that God doesn't exist with 100% certainty? Today, science is denying. To science and spirituality, they are having jagada. They're having a lot of war, a lot of debate. The question I'm asking you today, despite scientific research, the latest thing what people are talking about, the latest thing people are saying is now that NASA is saying we have touched the sun. Have any of you read it? It is the latest thing. NASA is saying we have touched the sun. And when I try to study what have you touched the sun, they say 8,000 million miles away, there is something called corona. And look at the word. They put the word corona. Corona is where you have solar winds. So anyway, out of curiosity, I was just studying it. Despite scientific research, can we ever say that God doesn't exist with 100% certainty? Anybody? Who would like to take this? Who would like to take this question?
Hi, namaste. Shilpa here.
Namaste. Ha, bolo Shilpa. Namaste.
So actually, to quickly answer this, no, of course, even science, no matter how much research they can continue doing, they cannot deny the fact that there is something supreme up above who created all this. They can reach black hole, take pictures of it. They might even reach sun, but somebody created that sun. They cannot find it. And actually, just like we have extreme people in religion, in spirituality, जो एकदम ही extreme सोचते हैं हर चीज में balance नहीं है. Similarly, we have extreme science people who think कि everything is science. There is nothing else beyond science, which is wrong. And there are a lot of scientists who believe not just that there is a power, no matter how far we can go in space, planets, whatever, but there is still something there which is incomprehensible and nobody can see or
But
prove
then,
it.
Shilpa, okay, you are giving theory. The point is scientists somehow believe that science doesn't believe in a God, doesn't believe in all this spirituality. So can they be 100% certain?
No,
Or are
not
they just
possible.
or are they just hiding from the reality?
They are, it's like ego. They're playing on their ego. Ego pe aa chuki hai unke, that's all.
Okay. So thank you for your input, Shilpa. Anybody else would like to talk about what science thinks about spirituality, about God? Because there is a kind of we must understand, we can't, scientists are intelligent people, right? You can't just say all scientists are nonsense, they're donkeys. You can't say like that. How can you say all scientists are fools? We can't say. So we have to try to understand. Because today you are on the path of spirituality. And if you are on the path of spirituality, you want to be sure what are scientists saying? What is the logic in what science is saying? It doesn't make sense. It's not making sense. So this is the question we are discussing today. So who would like to try?
Namaste.
Namaste. Rajan bolo.
Sir, Guruji, can we correlate this with the God particle, the cock? Beyond their perception, there is something. They agree.
So see, even this God particle, not all scientists they call it, even though it's God particle. When I was talking to one scientist, I told him, "So you believe in God?" He said, "No, it's a goddamn particle." So they are all. So there are different scientists who have got. So what do you know about the God particle, Rajan? What do you want to say about the God particle?
It is when we split atom, the minutest thing. It sometimes disappear and sometimes appear. I got it from your own class, nowhere else.
Okay, no. So therefore, what you're saying, actually, it is called the LHD, the Large Hadron Collider. And there is something in Geneva when they were doing the experiment of. They spent some billions and billions of dollars to do this experiment to get the smallest particle of matter. But the point is, why is science so much against God? Do you know that? Does anybody know why science is against God? Who can tell me?
That may be because, as the madam said, because of their ego. They can't agree that.
No. That's not. I don't think it's like that. So can anybody tell me?
Sir, science require proof, absolute proof. To be
Good, Rajan. Rajan, you are a professor, right? So you're
Yes,
talking like a professor
I'm
now.
retired. I am retired from
You're retired,
commerce.
yeah, but you're
not science.
talking from the professor point of view. So the point is this, Rajan, science wants logic.
Logic
Science
and
wants proof,
proof.
correct?
Yes.
So let me tell you, so science, when I was talking to a scientist, he says, what is this? You take one elephant god, you make one, cut one elephant head and put, and you say God. Then you
Yes.
make one Hanuman, you make one monkey god. Then you make some god flying on peacocks and
Yes.
riding on bulls, and all gods are holding snakes in their head, and they are living in lotus in the ocean.
Yes.
But this is the God we are praying to, correct?
Yes.
Do the scientists do they have a valid point, or they don't have a valid point?
Yes. They don't have a valid point because they don't have the proof.
No. When we are believing in these type of gods, then if scientists have the right to question this, right or wrong?
From our own point, they can't. They don't have the right. But their own point, they can say we have the right because
No. So
we cannot
no.
prove them. We cannot show them. This is.
As a professor, scientist is asking you, how can elephant be God? What will you tell him?
It is a part of the Almighty. Elephant, flower, myself, or whatever it may be, it is a part of the Almighty.
Yeah, but we are praying to an animal which has got no. We know an elephant is not capable of intellectual decision, right?
No. Yes.
So we are praying in the form of an elephant. We are praying in the form of a monkey. We are praying. So that's why scientists is refusing to believe.
Yes, it is a myth. We are following the myth like that.
So
elephant headed God, etc.
So,
That is
I'm just trying to give benefit of doubt to the scientist. When the scientist is listening to all these stories, scientist is telling, keep your bullshit to yourself.
Yes.
Don't
yes.
tell me all this nonsense. I'm not interested in your nonsense.
Okay.
So as a professor, what they are saying is right, or what they are saying is wrong. They've got a point. Because
from
we are believing.
their point, they are saying right because they don't have the proof.
Not proof. They are saying you're not. See, today, if you talk to scientists about SIP, Supreme Immortal Power,
they don't believe. They don't agree.
They may be able. Do you know some scientists believe in a God? Do you know that? Many scientists believe in God. You know that?
Yes. In NASA, they are conducting homas or pujas before sending a rocket. I heard that. I don't know.
Do you know that many scientists are studying Upanishads?
Yes. They are studying Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, etc.
Because they are believing in Upanishad, because Tattvam Asi, the scientists believing in that. So let us come back. We have Sudeep Bhargava.
Yes. Namaste.
Thank you, Rajan. So
Namaste.
we are still not finished. We are trying to get to the depth of it. Sudeep Bhargava.
Shivam, sir.
Shivam.
Sir, I just want to put 2 points. First of all, the scientists have themselves, they have accepted the fact that they have explored only maybe some 0.01% of the entire universe.
Correct.
So what is happening beyond our range where we have been able to reach, we still don't know what's happening on the other so-called solar systems. If you look up the sky, there are millions of stars. Each star has its own solar system. We don't know what's happening there. So
nobody knows.
Scientists are in a position to pass in a comment on what is God and what is not God. They are not in a position to do that. They themselves have a lot of limitations, first of all. Secondly, even if I talk about this solar system in which we are living in, we can argue on the existence of the physical form of God, whether Ganesha was there or not, or Shiva was there or not. And that is a matter of my faith. They may not agree with that. But even they cannot argue on the fact that there is no energy. The moment I start looking at my God as an energy and not as a human form, in the form like we normally pray in the temples, if I start looking at God as an energy, even the scientists cannot argue the existence of energy. Even they say that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. That's what our Gita also says, that soul cannot be created nor destroyed. So at some point, we are in sync with each other. So that energy thing is something that they cannot also refute. That's for sure.
Good. Very good point. Sudeep, you've got a very intelligent point to the group. So what? So scientists are not denying the existence of energy. They are not denying that there's a power. They are denying the God that we are praying to. They are denying, they are saying you Hindu and Christian and you are fighting with each other in temple and church. I'm not listing all the religions of the world because I told you, some people who get offended, we don't take their name. So the point is that scientists is saying, when you want money, you go to Lakshmi. When you want your son to get exams first, you go to Ganesha. What kind of God you are? What is this tamasha? Where is this God? Science is asking, where is this God? Who is this God? What is this God? But if scientists have to analyze SIP, the supreme immortal power, they cannot deny it. But we have to take the SIP concept to the science, because already science agrees that energy exists, and they agree that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. So scientists are not against. Scientists, they accept the law of gravity. They accept the law of the seed, that what you plant, as you sow, so shall you reap. They may not accept karma because they don't want to understand that there is some God sitting somewhere in the sky. No, science is saying this nonsense. Okay, who else? I think Tanu Chopra.
Good.
Thank you, Sudip. Thank you for your giving the
Guruji,
right,
may I speak?
Tanu and then Kiran. आपकी बेटी पहली. Tanu.
Bolo. Who is
Actually,
the
my
creator of universe? Science or
Shivam
God?
Guruji.
Shivoham. Bolo.
Guruji, my father is saying that science, God only created science, and the scientists also God only created.
Correct.
Who is the creator of science?
So, science, God only created. That is why the existence of God is there.
No, that is correct. But scientists are saying, ये तुम कितने भगवान लेके आ रहे हो? तुम तुम्हारे पूजा रूम में, you got in your puja room, you got 10 gods. So are there so many gods?
There is one God. There is one superpower. There is one God. One
So we all
energy
know
is there.
No, why the question is, today we are just discussing a different subject.
Science or God?
Why science is against this God that we are believing? Why science is against it?
Because they don't have any proof. They don't have anything. Evidence is not there because.
No, because our gods are too mythological. Our gods are all fairy tale gods. So anyway, Tanu, let's ask Kiran to speak. Kiran, आप बोलिए कि आपको क्या बोलना है?
Guruji Pranam. Guruji, scientists scientists kept the living body in a living person in a room, and when the person was about to leave the world, they wanted where the soul goes away, but they could not find it, though the person became dead. So they could not find it. This means that some power is there which they could not find the reason.
Kiran, we don't doubt. You and me don't doubt, right? That power is there. You and me don't doubt it. The point is why scientist is not accepting. Are you understanding why is science not accepting the power?
But
Oh God.
Guruji, whether they accept or not accept, soul is leaving the body.
Ek minute. We have to also respect scientists. Scientists are important people. You agree or not?
Yes.
My point to you is this. The scientist is saying, you are believing that God died, then the God resurrected, he arose. On Good Friday, he died. Then on Easter Sunday, he flew back into the skies. Ye sab kahaniyan kya baat? Scientists are questioning all these fairy tales and these stories. So they have a valid point, correct? Kya Hanuman carried the mountain and he was flying. Is kya ye koi joke hai? The ship is immortal, supreme power, no doubt. But the way we are praying, scientists don't want to agree. So who would talk about something which is about the scientists being unreasonable? Avinash. Yes, Avinash.
Yeah, just I want to add the point which Sudeep has already mentioned. So science could now understand that it's all about frequencies, and they could also realize that how the meditation can change the human behavior. Also, they could able to take the aura pictures and understand how the energy is created and how because of that the behavior of a person is changing. Okay, so they could now able to relate like and whatever we are doing as a sadhana, it's like we are going close to God. So means manifesting things because of meditation or being in the spiritual path, science is able to, you know, derive that. Yeah, so that is what I could pursue, that science cannot deny. Now coming to these fairy tales, that Ganesha, Lakshmi and Shankara, now we like it's our like we have to interpret that and correlate with the spirituality. Like Ganesha means we called as a Sukha Karta, Dukkha Harta. So it's not somewhere else, it's our own entity. And we have to become like that, like Sukha Karta, Dukkha Harta. My own self is become like a Ganesha. So that, yeah, that we have to bring that knowledge to science and explain them like how it, yeah.
You know, Avinash, the problem is this, because the religions of this world have made such a fun of God, scientists have started creating nonsense. For example, scientists say we came from apes, that human being came from monkey. We are Darwin's theory. Have you heard of Darwin's theory? Right? You've studied.
Yes.
Anybody can tell us Darwin's theory? What is Darwin's theory? Who can tell us about Darwin's theory? Who would like to tell us? Nobody is expert in Darwin's theory.
The Darwin's theory is to be the human is come from a monkey. It's evolution.
Very good.
Right.
So, my dear Bridget, I can say man came from monkey, okay? Huh? And monkey came from where? From dinosaur. Where monkey came from?
A monkey came from, I don't know. He put the first monkey here. Don't know.
There are two questions. If you believe that monkey became man, right? Then today also monkey should be becoming man. Why today monkey not becoming man?
You know.
Today also monkey should be, there should be monkey man. No, there should be man we should find that monkey who's becoming the man. Where is he?
No, it's not possible for now.
So the point, So the point is, we are moving to question answer. Sudeep last said, then we go back to Q&A. Today's discussion was just point to bring science into spirituality. We should not write off science, but we should try to talk scientifically to people if we are on this path, and we should understand science, that every particle of matter is energy, and that supreme energy is in every particle of life. Sudeep, you are the same subject, or are you going to some other questions, Sudeep?
No, sir,
It's
same
not
subject.
wrong.
Sir, Guruji.
Yes, Kumar Swami.
Guruji, sir, actually, the scientists, sir, recently they are doing all the research and all, but our ancient rishis said all the truth long back, some thousands of years back only, they have told all this truth.
You are right.
Regarding what is the sound energy, what is the sound in the universe, what is the sound within you, is the Atma, that is the sound. So recently they have found near the sun there is a Om, chanting of Om. That is recently they have discovered. But actually the rishis and all, they have discovered all these things some thousands of years. What I mean to say is, the scientists are very behind, very behind of the rishis only. They want, because they want proof, but how they might have discovered all those things, the rishis, because of the meditation, because of tapasya only they could able to grasp the things. And
That's why,
regarding the...
That's why scientists cannot understand the meaning of consciousness. Scientists cannot understand the meaning of soul. Scientists have not been able to realize the meaning of death. Scientists there are some concepts they don't understand. The scientists they have no answer to that. So good. Let us thank you for your input. We'd like to go back to question answers, Sudeep, quickly, and then we go back to main questions, back to the main subject.
Just one small point, sir, which sir has already said. that 25 years back, if somebody would have said that we can meet on a Zoom call like this, that you are sitting in Switzerland, I'm sitting in India, and then we are having a meeting, people would have
Yeah.
laughed off it. It would have been called as a myth. But in
5 years back.
2021, it's a reality.
Even maybe 5 years back, you would not believe it.
Even 5 years back, yes, this would have been, no, you cannot have this kind of a meeting done. Even 2010, this was not possible. So my point is something which is still evolving. Science is still evolving. I don't think they are in a position to tell what God is and what consciousness. These are much, much bigger things than what they have comprehended. So
good. So let's get back to the main subject, because this question answer session is basically for enlightenment. In scientific perspective is very important. So after, I've never had a science question. First time I think we are having a scientific subject discussion. So I brought this in to give you an opportunity. Surinder Goyal, he says, when all humans of different kinds and in forms are the manifestation of one soul, why cannot there be so many manifestations of the God in form of prophets or pure souls, whom we all worship as Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Nanak? No, you can. So Surinder Goyal, you can worship as Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Nanak and other names. But while you worship them, you should remember that you should also worship your Atma. Because if you are not worshipping your Atma and you're worshipping outside, then there's duality. And the duality takes you away from the SIP. The power is in you. There's no harm in worshipping saints and Swamis, and there's no harm. But don't forget that the Atma in you is the Paramatma. So that is Dr. Surinder Goyal. And Jyotri, because Jyotri's questions are always interesting. What are the limitations of enlightenment? Jyotri says, what are the limitations of enlightenment? I tried to find it, but I got none. Even the last breath of my life, if I come to know that the journey called enlightenment was also a Maya, then also I will be happy to be caught in this Maya. I tried to find it, but I got none. Even in the last breath of my life, if I will come to know that the journey of life called enlightenment was also Maya. No, the journey of enlightenment is, you can't say it's Maya. Then also I will be happy to be caught in this Maya. So Jyotri, you have given one, what they call in cricket, googly. You have given a googly question. So let us try, let's touch the point. What are the limitations of enlightenment? Very simple. We are limited and not achieving enlightenment because of ignorance, because of the mind, because of the senses, because of the ego, because we do not have a spiritual master. There are many areas where we are weak. And in the Upanishad, they talk of Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Shampat, Mumukshutvam. We already spoke about it. We need to pass the 4 doors to enlightenment. And as long as we are slaves and we are captured, as long as we are captured by our ignorance, as long as we are captured by the samsara, as long as we are slaves to attachments, to possessions, to pleasures, to people, we cannot have enlightenment. Enlightenment is a journey. We need to go. What is enlightenment? We have to switch on the light. So just now there was no light on my face. If you switch on, the light goes off. We have just like we switch on the light. The point is you need to switch on the light. And if you don't switch on the light, then there's darkness. There's darkness. You can't see. Looks like I'm only half faced. But then when you switch on the light, then you can see. Enlightenment means switching on the light inside. So next question, please. Anybody wants to talk about enlightenment, about the journey of life?
Hey, Shivam.
Shivam.
Hey, I want to know that if a person is he had switched on the light inside, so the light will be it will be on till the death, or it might be off one day.
No. So you may on the light inside, Gautam. Suppose you on the light inside, but suppose the mind and the ego, they bring darkness. Suppose I'm asking a simple question. You take a matches and you light a candle. Candle will already light, right?
Yeah.
Suppose you're holding the candle. And what I do, I come and I blow the candle.
Okay.
If I do, then what happens to the light?
It'll off.
It'll off. So what happens with enlightenment? If your enlightenment light is very small, if you have little bit enlightenment, just little bit, you are getting to enlightenment. If the Maya if the mind and ego comes and blows away your that candle of enlightenment, then what happens?
It will go away.
There'll be darkness again.
So we have
Therefore,
to be
right. Your enlightenment must be like the sun.
enlightened till we are dead.
No, your enlightenment must be very strong. The light of enlightenment must be bright. Nobody should convince you.
Okay,
If
okay.
Rekha comes and argues with you, now Gautam, ye wrong, you don't use them. I am very clear. You cannot argue with me. I am clear. Suppose Gautam, somebody comes to me and tells me God is Shiva. You made Shiva statue 40 years. Now God is Shiva. You have to believe in Shiva. Will I believe?
No,
Why I will not believe?
because you're already enlightened. Your mind is said to be enlightened, strong.
That's right. That realization has come clearly to me.
Yeah.
The realization is very clear. So like that, your enlightenment should not be like, I give example, like a little candle. It can be blown by the Maya, by senses, by mind, by ego.
So we
Okay,
have to
next
focus
question.
on. We have to focus on enlightenment till we are dead.
Gautam, you have to increase the light. The light of enlightenment should be bright.
Yeah.
So you have understood one thing. What makes enlightenment?
To realize
What?
the truth of our.
Exactly. Good. Excellent, Gautam. So how many truths we have to realize? Only one?
No, there are many truths. We have to kill.
In one book, what I have written, 100 pieces of jigsaw puzzle, 100 realizations.
Yeah.
What are the realizations? I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am the soul. Death is certain. At death, the body will die. The Atma will go. Atma will become one with Paramatma. God is not statue. God is a power. If you are mind and ego, then there will be rebirth. How many realizations? I can go on telling you birth. First the Atma comes alive in the zygote. The body comes afterwards. My birthday is not my birthday. I am not Gautam. Gautam is just my name. All these are realizations or no?
Yeah, it's there.
Every realization will add the light of enlightenment. You have to have bright light of enlightenment.
Okay, and shall I ask one more question?
If nobody else has got a question, then you can ask. Anybody else, whenever you have two questions, give a chance to somebody, then you ask. Anybody would like to ask a question? Silence is the biggest danger in enlightenment. Which silence? Silence in a spiritual conference like this. Silence must be only when you're doing dhyana yoga. What you people do, you know what you do? In a call here, you're silent.
Sir.
And when you're doing dhyana, at that time your mind is going bum 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 bum. Then what is the use? When you're doing dhyana time, your mind is wandering, and discussion time, your mind is silent. So this is not a good combination. Okay, Tushar, yes, Tushar. Gautam, we will not close without taking your question, Gautam. So, Tushar.
Sir, what is the surety that after enlightenment or after living a life like a Jivan Mukta, we will get moksha after that, sir? Because sir, कहते हैं ना sir, प्रभु के बिना तो पत्ता नहीं हिलता, तो बगैर प्रभु के हम कैसा मतलब sir मोक्ष पा सकते sir? बगैर भक्ति के हम कैसा मोक्ष पा सकते sir?
नहीं, किसने बोला भक्ति के बगैर मोक्ष प्राप्त कर सकते हैं? Bhakti, you need bhakti, you need devotion. But what you just know, what you said, see. You take your mobile phone, it is broken. You take it for repair. What do you think? What are the options in your mind, Tushar? Mobile phone is broken. You're taken to repair to the mobile expert. So what are the two options?
To buy a new mobile or to repair it, sir? Or
okay, the two options. Those are two options. And when you're repairing it, what are the two options?
What I can say, sir, while repairing it, sir.
In repairing, there are two options. Either it can be repaired or it cannot be repaired.
Not be repaired. Yeah, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
That the expert will look at the mobile and tell you, boss, motherboard is broken, the IC is gone, the screen is gone, everything is gone. Repairing this phone will cost you more than buying a new phone. So please buy a new phone. It happens like this, Tushar, or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, who can tell this? Who can give such an opinion? Can the man selling potatoes, can he give the opinion?
No,
Why he cannot give the opinion?
because he doesn't have the knowledge, sir, about the repair.
Thank you for your clear, crystal answer, Tushar. So, Tushar, the man who has gone on the path of liberation, of enlightenment, he knows what is the meaning of being free from the pain of the body, misery of the mind, agony of the ego. The man has gone on the journey and he has experienced freedom from the triple suffering. The man can see very clearly whether there will be death, there will be rebirth. The man can, because he is an expert. So when you say, what is the guarantee? The Jivan Mukta has the guarantee. The Jivan Mukta, the one who has realized the truth, the one who is the slave of his mind, he cannot think. You know, Tushar, it is such a big problem because the mind and the intellect is having a war. So there's a constant war. मैं फंसा, मैं खुद में फंसा. There is a war. Inside me, there's a war. There's a constant war. Tushar. Therefore, the man who is a Jivan Mukta, he has no doubt. He has no doubt that he will get Mukti, Moksha, Nirvana. Although then he continues bhakti because he knows that ultimately it is in the hands of the divine. So you may be completely 100% sure that you're a Jivan Mukta. But even the 100% Jivan Mukta lives a life of Samarpan Karna. Jivan jo ye jisne diya wahi sambhalenge. You understand Hindi, Tushar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hindi, my mother tongue is Hindi, sir.
So you understood what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions before we go to Gautam? Anybody wants to ask a question? Other, I'm going to Gautam. Gautam. Gautam, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there. I don't know,
Would you like
signal
to
is
ask?
going and coming.
Okay.
Yeah, shall I ask?
Please ask.
Yeah, actually, what happened for me? Few months over, I'm just concentrating on the enlightenment more and on business less. So in my family is getting hurt. So what I should do according to you? I don't have any.
If I tell you, your family will come and give me 2 slaps. But Gautam, anybody in the world ask me this question, I don't care what the family thinks. I am very clear, Gautam.
But as we know that if we concentration on business lessness, family will get hurt, and it might be a bad karma to me because I'm hurting them.
No. If you are creating death for somebody, I know your condition. It's not that by you are not eating, your children will die. It's not like that. That sensitivity you should have. When you realize that your leaving the business is not going to kill anybody, but your leaving the business is going to give you the enlightenment, then you must take the path of enlightenment on priority. The point is this: should you need to give up your business? You don't need to. You can control, you can do the important parts of your work. 8 hours a day you give for business. 8 hours a day you give for spirituality. 8 hours a day you sleep. You sleep, you have a shower. So divide your day into 8, 8, 8. When it's a condition like that for you. Suppose Dasi Budrani was asking me, when Dasi Budrani is concerned, I told him, no, you don't have to do 8, 8, 8. Dasi Budrani has crossed that level. For him, he can say bye, goodbye. When I had to close my business, when my Dadaji told me, Guruji told me, close your business tomorrow. You know, in a matter of one moment, I closed my business. So Gautam, you are not in that condition. I don't think you can close your business because your family depends on you for running the business. Am I right, Gautam?
Yeah, actually, my business hour is morning 8 to 12 to 13 hours.
No. But who else is there? You have any brothers who are running the business, or you are the only one?
My brother is having, but it's all depend on me only.
So you say, I will work 8 hours. I will work, even if I'm in the shop for 12 hours, 4 hours, I will do my dhyana. I will do my reading when the customer is not there. All I'm telling you is, what did Adi Shankara say in the chat 2 days back? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Muramate. Hey, you fool. What will you do? You're making more money and money. Gautam, what will you do? You'll take with you and go.
No, I live here only and go.
So, and there is enough food for your family to eat. Is that your family has got enough food to eat, or do you have a problem?
No, we have enough. We don't have any problem.
Then what is your problem, Gautam?
I don't have any problem. But if I focus on less time on business, means my family they'll get hurt. That's all. Nothing else.
You have a very simple choice. You want to make more money, or you want to make a stronger connection with the divine. You decide.
I want to make a stronger.
The option is very clear. There are 2 paths. There's right turn, left turn. You decide. I am not telling you. You want to do right turn, you keep on making money. And then after you make money and honey, then pony. You will go. Then you will come back again and again. But if you are just doing your duty as much as you have to do, and then you want to be focused on enlightenment, I have got my personal experience that, my dear friends, that we should not waste our life in the material world. Before I close, and the last 30 seconds of I only have 30 seconds to close the conversation. This is the most important message of today's call. The most important message of today's call, my friends, is this: don't waste your life. Don't throw your life away. One day you will die. Before you die, find out, who am I? Why am I here? If you don't find out, your life is a complete waste. Complete waste. So you have to stop. Don't get carried away by family, by friends, by relatives. Don't get carried away. You do your duty maximum for 8 hours. Concentrate 8 hours on spirituality. Your goal is to become one with SIP. More tomorrow on a very interesting topic tomorrow. I bow down to you. Shivoham, Shivoham.
Sure, thank you.